This is Rockin HIT Sales, a quick podcast built around the buyer side realities of healthcare. I'm David Hacker, your host and founder of Elevate HIT Sales. In each episode, I sit down with health system and health IT leaders to unpack what actually gets initiatives approved, implemented, and scaled. And I would like to welcome you to this very special bonus episode of Rockin HIT Sales. Today, we're connecting the dots from the provider side conversations we've had and look at how health systems really buy through a MEDDPICC lens. This is not a methodology lecture. It's a practical way to understand why health IT deals move, stall, or disappear. So why do deals stall? Health IT deals usually don't stall because the demo was weak. They stall because the buying process wasn't clearly understood. And then there's a stakeholder maze, with each stakeholder having their own and oftentimes conflicting priorities. A weak financial case, the hidden paper process, status quo pressure, and too many forecasts are built on good conversations instead of buyer evidence. MEDDPICC works in healthcare because it maps exactly how health systems buy. Metrics are the measurable problem. Economic buyer owns the budget, risk, and outcome. Decision criteria define what must be true. Decision process and paper process show how approvals really happen. Pain, champion, and competition tell us whether or not the deal has enough mojo to move through. Now, my provider guest, I'm not going to walk you through every guest shown here on the slide, but the pattern is extraordinarily clear. Dr. Barry Katzen, as an example, the Chief Medical Innovation Officer at Baptist Health of South Florida, stresses the need that pilots must prove an unmet need and value. That connects the dots to the metrics and identify pain. Robin Damschroeder, CFO at Henry Ford Health, gave us the CFO lens: payback, total cost of ownership, risk, and adoption. That connects to metrics, economic buyer, and decision criteria. Now, stage exit evidence. Don't try and read every detail on this slide. The point here is really simple. In your structured sales process, the sales stages should not advance just because the seller feels confident. They should advance because the buyer has shown hard evidence. A next meeting is not the same as confirming the pain, identifying decision criteria, the budget pathway, paper process, and championship strength. In healthcare, finance language matters. A 200% ROI may sound impressive, but a 3.5-month break-even point with a positive net cash flow after that 3.5 months is much easier for the buyer to understand and to sell internally. Lead with payback, and in your payback include ramp-up time, and you have to acknowledge internal cost. If you don't recognize their internal cost, their financial team will, and when that occurs, you don't know how long that's going to take and what their outcomes might show. So get ahead of it, or your opportunity will stall or possibly even be squashed. My 3 brief takeaways. First, MEDDPICC is not sales theater. It is buyer alignment strategy. Second, deals should advance on buyer evidence, not seller confidence. Third, payback, workflow fit, and internal champions are what move health IT deals to close. Now, here's a very practical next step. Before your next forecast review, pick one live deal and pressure test it against a MEDDPICC health system buying map. The goal here is not just to fill out an acronym or form. The goal is to identify and understand what the buyer still needs and what you must provide them before they can say yes. Have questions, comments, or guest ideas? Email me at podcast@elevate-hit-sales.com. Music is courtesy of Pennsylvania's finest, the Badleys. Take that one live deal, run it through the MEDDPICC health system buying map, and tighten up your evidence. Because, as ZZ Top reminds us, everyone is crazy about a sharp-dressed man. And in health IT sales, a sharp-dressed MEDDPICC process is what keeps the deal from getting stuck somewhere in that shack outside of LaGrange.